Come here. Woo! Whole new setup.
Hello.
Careful, Christian. You're vibing.
Always vibing.
Always vibing. What is up, people?
What is
How do
good
we not
in
have
the
anybody
hood?
else on the podcast? Nobody else wants to come down and be on the podcast?
You're late.
Come
Too
on.
bad. We started.
Anyway. All right, so welcome.
Hello.
Welcome back to all the people that didn't know. We're in our new office today. Gang.
Right here off Falls Road.
Right here off Falls Road. Right here in Hampton.
Reporting live.
I feel like we have to be like, Hamden, hon. I feel like that's
Right
an
on the
obligation.
avenue, hon.
On the avenue. We got a whole new
I
setup.
can see it.
We got a whole new setup. We have our podcasting studio. We have our new office. As you can hear, we have a little bit of an echo, but we'll get through that
This is legit.
in due time. Anyway, so what's up? Mike Frank, Christian Olson with eXp Realty, Frank Oliver Collective, coming to
folks.
talk to you guys a little bit about, the reality check. Reality check. I feel
Realty
like
check.
we need a real alarm. Where is there an alarm on this thing?
Don't think we have one.
Oh, come on.
You're shit out of
I
luck,
got
bud.
you.
That's
That's
the
my
total
reality
opposite.
check. That's my reality check.
Yeah.
There you
There
go.
you go.
We need an alarm. We need like a. That's all we got. Anyway, so the reality check in today's market, and what we're seeing right now is that there's a lot of prevailing perceptions that are clashing with the reality of today's market. The current narrative suggests that housing, whether for purchase or for rent, stands as an insurmountable challenge for younger generations. While acknowledging the hurdles, it's imperative to dissect these prevailing beliefs and confront them with some hard to swallow truths. I don't think I could have said it better.
I think just the internet I said that weird. Internet. The internet is just
The internet.
a weird place where there's so much information and people think it applies on each individual level. Yeah. That was very loud in my ear.
I think, as they say, your head is a scary place to be.
Yeah.
And it's no more true than it is in today's market. Your head is a scary place to be.
Uh-oh.
My mic stand is falling apart while I try to adjust it.
We talked about this in our training the other day.
In our trainual?
Yeah.
What do we talk about? I forgot.
Just like your head's a scary place to be. Like people say, oh, this market's going to crash. Or like a good example is like this Tony Robbins book that just came out. I think it's called Unbreakable. I bought it recently and I listened to the first chapter on audiobook. But basically he talks about people worrying about the stock market crash, like all these other things, and you can only control what you can control. So don't worry about any of the other bullshit around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you go on the internet, I think people look at all these scary things and they get in their head, or it could even be good things, but then they think it applies to them and they get in their head about getting their hopes up, or they end up getting their hopes up. Like, oh, I'm going to qualify for all these grants. And like, let's say
Right.
it's Smart Buy and they have $100,000 worth of student loan debt, and Smart Buy only covers, I think, what, 20 now?
20.
Yeah. It used to be much higher.
But it's crazy because I used to tell people that what worked for your sister, your cousin, doesn't work for you. It just doesn't apply.
It still holds true.
I mean, I agree. All right, so myth number 1, housing is overpriced and it's unfair. The hot take is that it's an exclusive game barring young individuals by systematic barriers to entry.
And Big Pharma's out to get you, people.
That's
all
all
right?
it is. That's what they think.
It's kind of crazy. I do like we're not even there yet. We're not even to the avocado toast. Okay.
Or avocado toast. Yeah, it's coming.
Housing is overpriced and it's unfair. Work harder. Mic drop.
Yikes.
Seriously, though.
There's no question that housing prices have surged, right? We all know that in the last 5 years, housing prices have surged. In some situations, almost even doubled, creating opportunity for people to feel like it's an unfair advantage that a more wealthy or a more established borrower would benefit from.
I think, how much longer are you going to sit on the sidelines where other people out here making moves? Literally. As funny as this sounds, like, the amount of people who have been able to get themselves into the market in a better position, a homeowner or an investor or whoever it may be. And even the same thing, we'll go the unfair route of like, oh my God, these big banks are buying up all these homes and BlackRock and all this bullshit.
That's all they talk about.
They also control, like, that's someone else's investment portfolio, right? So you think like this big corporation is coming out for the little guy. Think about it all you want, but in the reality, that could be your father's 401k.
Right.
Like they're not out to eliminate the little people in the world that, are trying to buy their first home. It's just the way that the world works. And when are you going to start taking accountability or responsibility putting yourself in a better position.
Also think about like creating a strategic approach doesn't mean overcoming the objection. Creating the strategic approach doesn't mean forgoing the reality that the market is expensive. Creating a strategic approach doesn't mean that we can't see success in an otherwise challenging market. It means that what you're currently expecting and the reality of the market might not be in alignment.
Yeah.
But if you get in alignment with the reality of the market, you can even utilize programs that you didn't know existed by opening yourself up to that opportunity.
I was going to say, just have like be realistic about your position,
Yeah.
right? Your position that you're in today, it's not always permanent. It's not going to be forever. You're always working. You're hopefully going to get a raise in a couple of years. Like, why don't you start out with a starter home, right? You don't need to buy this giant investment property or this huge mansion, $1 million, right?
Well, and something else that came up in our conversation this morning was, shared equity arrangements can create a huge opportunity for success for people that want that bigger investment. What if you had two people that went in together on a larger investment that you couldn't afford as an individual, and you created a plan of action for the exit strategy of that investment? You could create an opportunity for two people to buy maybe a 4-unit property where it would be unattainable for your current status.
Yeah. That's actually a very good point. I think that goes overlooked a lot of the time, and people, when you hear that, people will say like, oh, I don't want a cosigner. I don't want to go in on anyone. I want to do this myself. I want to own it alone. Well, what if you have no other option? There are people that are willing to make that sacrifice, and they do come out on top.
I think the other thing is some people get in their own way, where it took me absolutely no time to sit down and talk to my co-borrower and say, hey, this is attainable for me. But if I do it myself, it's actually going to cost me twice as much. It's going to be much more limiting, and it's going to impact my long term. Or if you would help me, I'd be able to do this with a little bit less impact to my long term. Yes, you have to help carry me through the process, but it wasn't a conversation that I was afraid or too prideful to have, right? I needed that on my first property, and it's something that I'm forever indebted to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why people look at that or look at a cosigner or co-borrower as like a bad thing. Like, I'd love to have more support on my team.
Yeah.
Like putting me in a better position 10 years down the line, again, having this grateful opportunity that I was able to take advantage of. And I think it's honestly, it could be priceless.
Yeah. I think it's crazy. Like, as I'm thinking about these equity arrangements, the people that I'm thinking about are millennials, younger, first-time home buyers, people that are looking to get into the market that don't understand how to do it. And yet they think that the only option is to live frugally. And so the myth number 2 was to live frugally is a sacrifice, but not a strategy. And the hot take is that millennials are literally, this is my favorite line, millennials are drowning in avocado toast, thinking that tightening the belt won't significantly impact their financial situation. And I've got to tell you, it's not about creating the opportunity to avoid brunch altogether. It's not about the opportunity to neglect the avocado toast and opt for a cheaper option. It's about the mentality that goes along with, I have to go to brunch on Saturday. Yeah. I have to do this with my friends. If I don't, then I'm going to be ousted. What if we created a different mentality?
How about just being an adult?
Okay, Christian.
But no, I'm a culprit. I'm a huge culprit of this, right? Like going out for a drink, or like even just normal responsibilities that people don't want to grow up and do.
Yeah.
Right. And that could be getting a raise. It could be, hey, I'm spending too much money on avocado toast. It could be, hey, I've got this car that's $1 million and it's hurting my bank account more than I wanted it to. Right. Like there are these things that come into the adult life that I think millennials and people my age are struggling with.
I think the other thing that's wildly fascinating, and this has always been something to fascinate me, I have people that I know that are millionaires and tens and even hundreds of millionaires, and they're going to the same movie theater, getting the same popcorn, the same drink. They're buying the same cell phone. They're going and getting the same car. In many situations, they're driving down the road in a Lexus or in a Toyota. They're not driving down the road in a Lamborghini or something crazy. Yeah. They're just living their life. And yet, the $35,000 income earner has a $700 monthly payment on a 2022 insert car here.
Yeah.
YOLO.
My cousin and his wife recently texted me asking if I wanted to go to this Ocean City concert. You know me, I love my concerts. Last year, I went on a shit ton during the summer, and it just definitely hit my bank account hard. Like it was a lot of money, all the traveling, all the concerts, everything like that, the merch, all my tie-dye t-shirts. And they texted me like last week, hey, do you want to see this other concert in Ocean City? I'm like, look, I already have 2 shows lined up. I can't afford to do this right now, or like I don't feel comfortable doing it. I have these other things set aside in 2023. I also think a big part of it is that people say that they want a house or they want to do these things, but they don't, like, it's not a serious ask or say. It's not like something that
we've been in the immediate gratification landscape for the last decades and decades. And we've created an environment where if you want Apple AirPods, you can get them same day, shipped to you from Amazon or otherwise. You can create the opportunity for yourself to develop, market share immediately with the gratification that you create. And yet real estate is something that you cannot do overnight. You cannot buy a house in a day or expedite shipping in a week. It's something that takes time and it's a process. And people are almost lacking the gratification for the opportunity that it resembles. By skipping the financing for the non-essential item, limiting that debt like you're talking about, every penny saved becomes a financial stepping stone towards the ultimate goal of home ownership. But we don't have stepping stones in our world anymore. I mean, hell, John over here, if you have to open the front door, he's practically like, I don't want to do it. It's not anything against him. It's the world that we've created. We've created a world where some guy drops off something at your front door. You get a notification on your phone. You don't even have to talk to the person. They dropped off orange juice. They dropped off pizza. They dropped off anything it might be.
When's the last time you had to sign for a package?
Bro,
okay, let's not ask you.
Take me out of it, right? Like,
but I don't even know if I've actually signed for a package ever. Maybe
we
once,
have to sign for one every week
ago.
because we get a wedding gift was a delivery of wine and cheese, and so you have to be over 21. But
okay.
I digress. I think the point is that people haven't yet embraced the reality of that little bit of sacrifice. I am the culprit of eating fucking hard noodles instead of boiling them in water because of like my mentality, my limiting mentality. Like if I couldn't get a noodle to cook fast enough, I wanted to turn off the power, turn off the water, turn off whatever, so that I could limit that exposure in order to save money to move to the next step. And yet we have people that can't eliminate avocado toast from their diet.
Bro, the biggest thing that I do, and it's kind of similar to what you do, except I don't eat hard noodles. I could live off just chicken and rice and like some honey and hot sauce. That's probably all I get from the store most of the times.
Yeah.
Right. I hardly get snacks. It's like, all right, I do the same breakfast just like you and same dinner, same lunch pretty much all the time. Yeah. I hardly deviate from my things at the store. So I kind of know my budget. I know what I'm going into every time spending it. And people think they're probably looking at us like, oh, you guys are fucking crazy. Da, 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 da. Well, sorry, this is how I live my life. You live yours however you want. Right. And we have our goals in mind. You might have others, or maybe you don't. I don't know. Right.
No, I mean, I agree. I think, the other thing is that people look at real estate as like it's unfair, right? It's unfair that my landlord raised the rent. It's unfair that it's more complicated. My application for my mortgage shouldn't be so difficult. I gave them everything I needed. Why are they asking me for more money? And it's like, instead of vilifying the landlord, instead of vilifying the process, instead of creating this big ogre out of what could become, we should just start to say, hey, these people are giving me $150,000, $300,000, $700,000, $900,000 towards the purchase of my home for myself and for my family. And yet all we do is vilify them.
I was going to ask, what was that word again? But I think a lot of people vilify it. Shit ton of things, and they don't take that like self accountability or like responsibility, even if it's some outlandish shit.
Yeah.
But like, if you ever want to feel like you accomplished something, you gotta like change that mindset of like vilifying everything and start taking some individual accountability and responsibility for whatever you want to do and whatever happens in your life. I don't give a fuck if someone hits your car, but like, take some accountability for it.
How often do you hear this? Oh, the shit's rigged.
Dude,
Jonathan. right? Like football is rigged. The system is rigged. This is all rigged. Securing a mortgage shouldn't be such an insurmountable feat.
Is rigged one of the things on the list?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
telling you.
hot take. The system is rigged.
Right? But then if you think about it, the reality check is that the mortgage regulations put in place in 2011, 12, 13 were a direct response to the 2008 housing crisis. Why do you think that we've had such a long period of housing rise? It's not because, the government's out to get you. It's not because, affordability is at an all-time high or the rich get richer or whatever stupid thing you want to say.
The people that say the system's rigged are the same people that trade currency.
We're not going down that road. But the point here is it's not rigged against you. It's designed to prevent failure.
Yeah.
It's literally designed to prevent failure. There are more people today with more equity nationally. It's something like 34% of all homeowners today own their home outright.
I think
it's something
also,
to the effect of 80% of homeowners have more than 20% equity in their home.
It's
whereas in 2008, those numbers were flip-flopped 180%.
I wonder if I have the screenshot still here on my desktop. There was an interesting statistic. I think it was 70% of homeowners have over 50% of equity in their home. I don't have I had a screenshot because I was watching something the other day. But
the key is for people that think that the system is rigged and it should be something easier to get a mortgage. Just remember, the design of the system today is designed to prevent loss. It's designed to create an opportunity where real estate can still be the 30-year best investment of your entire life. Every billion-dollar income earner led by Warren Buffett will tell you that the 30-year investment is led by real estate, outproducing even the stock market.
I want to say we are not financial advisors or tax people or anything like that, right? But the point I'm about to make, I sat down with a client on a buyer consultation a couple of weeks ago. They were all real excited to move forward and they had the means to do so. They were working on a couple things behind the scenes, but this applies. They talked to a lender. They're waiting for their VA approval to go up and waive the funding fee and all of that. Then, they're like, we're actually just going to rent for another year. And I prompt the question, are you guys prepared to pay an extra $32,000 down the drain? And I know that gets thrown around all the time, but who has $32,000 laying around? Now you're $32,000 behind the next person, behind the next person. And now this home that you're looking at, the $600,000, a year from now, what are we looking at?
It's also the opportunity, right? Think about it this way. Instead of looking at it like a negative, 32,000 down the drain, right? If we invest the same 32,000 into buying a home, let's just say we the same exact monthly payment. Now, granted, we do have down payment and closing costs and other expenses, so we'll talk a little bit about those in your personal situation. But let's just say we have the same monthly payment, and that monthly payment was what?
$3,300.
$3,300 a month. Okay. So you're investing $3,300 a month. You're investing $2,000 a month. You're investing whatever the number is, $24,000 a year, $32,000 a year, $34,000 a year. It doesn't matter, right? At the end of that year, that 12-month period, how much of that money has the opportunity to increase in value? We're not talking about a guarantee. We're talking about I invested $33,000 into my home, and in 12 months' time, I paid down this much principal. I gained this much equity. Do you think that you're going to lose principal? No, you gain principal. It's not possible to lose principal.
Let's say,
can you lose equity? For sure you could, but our best investors are telling us that it's a 5% equity growth over this year, 2024. And mark my words, if it's not 5%, it'll be 3%.
I was going to say, we've talked about it, but for our listeners, what do you think would be, let's put these numbers to a real
I feel like
scenario.
that should be my podcast picture. I don't even understand.
What would be a fair amount of equity growth percentage-wise for 2024?
0.
Well,
you know why? Because it's fair to invest and not gain money.
That's also true.
Period. Mic drop.
I mean, it happened.
that was the saddest mic drop ever. It was like a mic boop. Anyway, Honestly, like, what do I look at it? I look at it that I bought a house in 2021 and it's now worth, oh my God, 17% more. I don't know, and I don't care. You know why? Because I'm not selling it after 12 months. I'm not moving out after 12 months. I'm not doing an asset evaluation after 12 months. And if you are, kudos to you. Good for you.
I like what you're saying, because a lot of sorry.
It's not about the fucking equity growth. It's about the future growth and the wealth that you create and the opportunity. Yes, I want to grow equity. Yes, I want it to grow by 7 or 12% annually. Yes, it would be great if we had another 20% year. That's probably never going to happen in the history of the world. But you know what? In the meantime, losing 1% of a $300,000 house means losing $3,000. Renting that same $300,000 house means losing $27,000. Like, period. I don't care how you fucking look at it. Yo,
I don't think I've ever seen someone turn it like that before.
I hear my fucking voice echoing off the wall. I hope other people do. Jesus
They just
Christ.
hear us outside. What if we had a crowd of people just sitting out there clapping after that?
I feel like we need one.
A crowd.
Hamden, Han.
We could be like, what is it, college game day, and everyone's sitting around.
Yeah, right, with the big fat heads. Fat heads. Anyway, all right, well, we've got a lot of content. We've got a lot of things going on. I obviously am very excited to chat with you guys more.
Yeah,
So
especially in the new office.
In the new office, we're going to keep progressing. If you guys have any interest in being on our podcast, whether you're a client, a friend, an affiliate, we'd love to have you on. We do have a seat right here ready for anybody that wants to join. Come on. Is it on our website, Liv? The link to the podcast? It's in Liv's email. Email Liv at frankoliverco.com, and she'll respond to you so you can get the link to sign up to be on the podcast. We'd love to have you guys talk to you a little bit more. You know where to reach us on our Instagram page at michael.frank___, or on our website at frankoliverco.com. Under additional resources, you can read a little bit more about this content and more under the blog, and you can always call us. I don't remember our office line number. It's brand new. Sorry.
Oh, do we have a new office line?
We do.
Nice.
All right, Christian.
You can find me on Instagram at Christian the Deadhead. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you next Monday.
Catch you soon. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. For more information on the housing market, Real Estate 101, how you can leverage your position in today's market, and so much more, click on the link below. If you like this video or have a burning real estate question you'd like us to answer, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you again real soon.